Ryan, what are your questions?
I guess I want to circle back to the mental health, and I feel like there's a lot of young people listening. And I remember being, I don't even think I told Megan this story, but I remember being a freshman in high school. I was struggling with that move, and I was not feeling okay, but I didn't really search for help. I remember waiting for my mom to pick me up. I'm drawing out help in the sand. I'm upset, and I would just turn to weed
Oh my
or
God.
substances. I was, now that I've sobered up, I'm like, I was a depressed individual, but I felt maybe I was too stubborn, or
Yeah, I
it
knew that.
wasn't cool. I wish I can go back and literally ask my friends and family, hey, I need help. I'm not feeling okay. Um, how do you like? What is the deal with why is it so hard to be a teenager? And what's going on with a teenage brain that everything does seem like the end of the world, and you don't realize until now I'm 29. I'm like, you just worry about the present moment and stop getting so frustrated with what happened in the past, or what's maybe not even to come that you're worried about. Why is it so hard to be a teenager?
And why is it so hard to ask for help at that
Yeah.
age?
Well, because who do you ask? I mean, there is such a stigma, and there's so much lack of empathy and so much bullying that goes on because at that age everybody's so insecure that they do what's called leveling. And when I say leveling, I mean insecure people try to level, and that is they either build themselves up if they perceive somebody superior to them, or they try to shoot that person down to their level. So it's real hard for insecure young people, 10, 12, 13, 14 years old, to have the ability to be empathetic and say, I need to give to this person. I need to be a soft place for this person to fall. I need to support this person because they're insecure and they think that's going to be at my expense. And that's not true of all kids. Some kids are well socialized, but your brain's not through growing until you're 25, at least 25, and so kids at that age are not well socialized, and so it's hard for them to practice empathy and say, Ryan's hurting right now, and I need to make this about him instead of about me. So what you do is you turn to a counselor, and that's something that we don't have enough money behind in the schools. And if you're seen going into the counselor's office, you're doing it in front of the whole school, so you
Yeah.
feel conspicuous.
Yup.
Yep.
And so now you go, oh, I saw Ryan going in there. What's he, nuts? So there's a stigma associated with it. So there's not really anywhere to go. And that makes it hard. And kids that age don't want to go to their parents and say, I'm being picked on, bullied, or feel marginalized because they're embarrassed to tell their parents. They don't want to tell their parents they're a dipshit. They don't want to say, I'm not the popular kid. I'm not the cool kid. I'm the marginal kid, and because they don't want to disappoint their parents. So there's all of these things that stigmatize what the kids need help with, and that's why we need to give them a place to go with anonymity where they can reach out for help and give a voice to their feelings where they can realize, all the kids are feeling that way. And the only way to do that is to put money in the budget for it, to put money in the curriculum for it. And I think a big answer for that's going to be in telehealth, where kids can get on a computer in their privacy of their own home and talk to counselors.
Okay. Let's do it.
Love that.
Well, yeah. Well, Jay and I started Doctor on Demand,
I love that.
and that's been a big help for that,
Doctor on
particularly during the pandemic. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Well, speaking of that, can we just show what the fans sent in? I told our listeners that you're coming, And we won't keep you here for too long, but I want you to read one of these or a couple of these because they're really good.
All right.
This I don't have an answer for, but I wondered if you did. Who's this from? Chels. Hey, Chels. Any tips for overcoming postpartum depression or balancing your mental health needs while also being a mother?
Yeah.
As a mom, how do you feel?
Yeah.
No, like overcoming postpartum depression. Postpartum depression is very real and very spooky. And I stayed on half of my medications. I was on a very light dose of Ativan, and I'm on citalopram, like 30 milligrams. And I stayed on that because my doctor said it was safe, and I got off of the Ativan. And I think staying on that through the pregnancy and after and still today is the only reason why I didn't have any depression.
Yeah, and listen, you're exactly right. Postpartum depression is very real, and it can last for a long time. It isn't just something that can last for a few weeks or a few months. And your research tells us that if a mom is getting her chemistries and her body back a year later, that's not unusual.
Yeah.
It takes a long time to get everything back in balance. So, number one, I say above all else is be patient with yourself. The worst thing you can do is judge yourself and decide, well, I'm a bad mother because I'm feeling this way. That means that I'm somehow inferior, I'm doing something wrong, or I'm just not cut out to be a mother. That is absolutely not true. That does not mean you're any less of a mother than the one that's got all of her kids dressed up and in a buggy and going down. That's just bullshit. That's just bullshit. Don't think that. Be patient with yourself and understand this is a biochemical phenomenon and has nothing to do with your value system, has nothing to do with how much you love your child or how much you want to be a mother or how this is going to turn out. So number one, be patient with yourself. And I don't want to sound like a broken record, but number two, give your feelings a voice. And if you don't have the resources, wherewithal, money, access, or whatever, to go to a physician or a psychologist or psychiatrist and deal with this, get into a support group. Because there are so many mothers out there that feel exactly the way you do. And when you talk to them, they will say, oh my God, that's exactly what I did and or how I feel. I'm just 3 months down the path further than you. What helped me was A, B, C, and D. And third, I will tell you that nutrition and exercise are so important. And you go, oh, well, yeah, great. I wish I had time to do that. You do have time to do it. If it means you've got to get up 30 minutes earlier or you need to call on family, friend, church members, whatever, you must carve out time for yourself. You got to take care of yourself so you can take care of others. And if you've got to get out, walk around the block, do whatever, you've got to take care of you or you can't give away what you don't have. And value yourself. Treat yourself with dignity and respect. Love yourself. Give to yourself. And that will start changing things faster than you can imagine.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. That's what I did. I started my whole fitness work
Right.
life, and but you're always gonna have a moment where you're like, am I the worst mom? No, you're not the worst mom. You're overwhelmed.